Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and I know by now a lot of you guys out there have seen Out of Shadows, the latest viral video via YouTube. And we're going to talk about the exceptional. We're going to talk about some of the things that unfortunately have doomed this, in my opinion, to be debunked time and time again. And the problem is, it's not because of the information. So let's start her out. But before we get there, thumbs this video up, subscribe and share if you're new to the Burmis Brigade. And, I don't usually lead with this on my videos, but these days I have to. I've been fully demonetized on YouTube. For those that don't know that, that's why I need your support now more than ever. 5, 10, 15 bucks, big donors. It means the world to me, and hopefully you're going to find the information in this video extremely informative and maybe kind of a piece of co-information for this movie. Because I gotta say, when I say exceptional, the gentleman behind me, first of all, the editing, the pacing, and the overall information that's presented in this film is exceptional. I applaud him for that. And even his own personal story, which is interwoven between himself and another friend who came up in Hollywood, I'll give a brief synopsis of that, is an exceptional story. And the way he portrays it, again, is done very well. At just under an hour and 20 minutes, this documentary almost feels reminiscent of what kind of a loose change pace. Has over 5 million views in less than 4 days. People are also reposting it. So again, kudos to this filmmaker for making something that is at least going to get people to question information. Okay, so he's done a really good job in that regard. So what else to me is exceptional? Now, guys, when I saw this, he does really good stuff on Disney and archival footage. Okay, especially with Disney, I think it's important, and we'll get into that later. But those that don't understand, not only was Disney propped up by the Central Intelligence Agency, they were also used back in the day in World War II. When I saw this Donald Duck with American eyes, I think people should hearken back to the Donald Duck Nazi Hitler Brings the World New Order video. If you're unaware of that, I wanted to put it in my film. Geez, who's this? Okay, so someone's... my buddy. So anyway, I was going to put it in my film Invisible Empire, and Jones nixed it. He thought we would get sued. But Disney's been used as a tool of propaganda with the military-industrial complex before it was named the military-industrial complex, and especially the Central Intelligence Agency. So him putting that in there and then later on showing how Disney has bought up Marvel Entertainment, Lucas, and Fox, and even consolidated their power more, well, that was important to me. Why? Let's take a look. First of all, if you don't know about my Bella Thorne video on Disney, this has a lot to do with child abuse. I wish there had been more with that angle of child actors and actresses, especially from Disney, talking about their sexual abuse, that Nickelodeon, etc. That wasn't there as much. It was in the background. So the Disney stuff is good, but if you search my videos, you'll notice that Disney here and Conor McGregor, listen, if you don't know about Conor McGregor, there is a plethora of evidence that he is a serial violent rapist, okay? And Disney helped cover that up. You got to think about these things. As far as the history goes with Disney and beyond World War II, beyond war propaganda, you got to understand they also promoted NASA on a massive level, right? And that he does do an excellent job of revealing to people that Disney, NASA, Nazis, Werner von Braun. Oh my goodness. So kudos to him on all that. Now that's not even the coup de grace, in my opinion, of what this was really, really good at. okay, he was really, really, really good at showing MK Ultra. And it's kind of funny. This is the second one in the series, but if you check out the dates on these guys, it was a year ago today that I started my own MK Ultra series. And what he did is he took a lot of the vintage footage from a documentary exposing MK Ultra. I believe it was either late 70s or early 80s. But in this series, I piece by piece by piece go through it. Okay? And you can see the whole thing, but he did a good job in taking little bits and pieces, editorializing it a bit, and putting it in there. And I especially liked that beyond the mind control aspect and beyond the LSD stuff, he talked about the sub-programs and especially the fact that they used brothels and honeypots. Okay. All these things done very well. Kudos to him. You know, I could sit here and nitpick and say he should have added this, he should have taken this out. I'm not going to do that. However, when we start getting into two different aspects of this, I think that the problem he's been set up to be debunked, okay, by the way, is because of the interviewers that he used, okay? That's a big thing. I mean, his archival footage is great, but at the same time, for instance, don't get me wrong, his friend is also great. David Ships, I believe his name is. So far, David Ships' information that I've seen, the guy behind me, I think his name is, ex-CIA, he seems to have the chops, is not lying. He's put out good information so far. I'm not so sure. Kevin Ship, thank you. Kevin Ship, I apologize. So Kevin Ship, I've seen some of his lectures. They're pretty good. You know who else was really good back in the day? Robert David Steele. Okay, Robert David Steele, a lot of people forget this, but he was one of the people that first came out with the information that Google had been seed funded, right, by intelligence. And he put out a lot of good information. I remember. For those that don't know, you know, not only am I, you know, a documentary filmmaker that is, you know, behind Loose Change, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, and that we're going to talk about later, and Shade the Motion Picture. But I was the first guy Jones ever gave a show to on InfoWars. So like in the 2007, 8, 9, 10 period, I was very involved in, you know, these whistleblowers. And some would turn the corner, right? And go disinformation. And Robert David Steele is absolutely one of those people. So I'm not saying that Kevin Ship will do that, okay? I'm just saying that we have to be wary of somebody that is putting something like this. Next, let's just talk about Pedogate in general, okay? And obviously, if you saw this and you see Abramovic, who I did another video on, you can still see that, by the way, today for free. You just need to sign up over at rockfin.com, get a free account, and this is up there for free. We live stream it for free Tuesday at noon. We break down HoloLens, Bill Gates, transhumanism, you know, her occultism, art, etc. And we'll get into that aspect some, but when we're talking about quote-unquote pedogate, we're talking about the occult, okay? Satanism, I mean, there's different flavors all over the place. And we're talking about elitism. And we're also talking about the CIA, you know, and he briefly goes over Laurel Canyon. I'll be honest. The Laurel Canyon information is extremely interesting. I am not super well versed on it and the validity of each part, other than the locations of these people. You know, I get that people build narratives around that, and especially the new Manson book. I guess Rogan's going to have the author of that on, which is going to be interesting. I have to read that. I have that book, and I think it would be interesting to have him on. So let's get into quote-unquote pedogate or Pizzagate, okay? That, again, is one of those things where if you just, I think I put in, I forget what I put in the search term. I think I put in Disney. And if you look through my videos, you just search Disney, it's not even Pedogate or Pizzagate, but if you get down to it, you get down to people like Dennis Hassert, right? We could talk about Foley. We have a long history of high-level government officials that are serial pedophiles. Dennis Hassert, the former Speaker of the House, has been categorized as a serial child molester by a judge. I think it would be important to establish those things, and especially Dennis Hassert being in the emails by Podesta. Now, I get it. You want to go with what is flashy, right? So you go with the code words. But the last thing I would have done is I would have explained it was called that because of the code. And what do you lead with if you're going with the emails, as other than a backdrop, right? If you look at this, my Finders videos with Derek Bros, he's done amazing work. Okay. By the way, thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share, everybody. If you haven't seen that, you need to watch it. Like, Bros did firsthand great information work on the Finders before the release of those documents earlier last year. Okay? So really important stuff. So what do you lead with? It's pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty easy what you lead with. You say in these email exchanges, one of which was to John Podesta and a group, all you have to do is read the email. With enormous gratitude to advance man extraordinaire Aber, I am popping up again to share our excitement about the reprise of Our Gang. And notice it's Our Gang in capital letter. Our Gang's visit to the farm in Lovettsville. And I thought I'd share a couple more notes. We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby Emerson and Maeve Lovato, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. Let's just stop right there. If you show any human being that doesn't have sinister intentions towards a child, that is not normal. There's no reason for children to be used as entertainment in a pool. For John Podesta and buddies, that's heated. And their ages given. And to be Uber service there. That's where you can start. That's where you can start. Now, we haven't even gotten to the other, questionable interview, which we'll get into in a second. But I just feel like, once again, if you're going to start there, that is the place. Okay? That is obviously the place you start. Because anybody reads that, and then you can bring up the Dennis Hassert email. We'll do that live, because we do a lot of things live here. Okay? Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Denny email WikiLeaks. Well, notice how John Podesta comes up. We'll just go over to images. Okay? I have stayed in touch with Denny Hasper and Jan Esla in all these years. Okay? All these years. Let's type in island. Okay. Let's see. Might be time for Denny to vanish to an undisclosed Japanese island. So that would be another thing that I probably would have hammered home before I got into any kind of code words in the Pizzagate thing. With all due respect, because the film, again, is very well done. Now, here's the other reason it's set up for failure. He props this woman up. And look, I don't know her personally. I assume she has the right things at heart, but she has gone into this, fantasy world where so much propaganda and lies have been pushed that she's not credible. Okay? And I'm sorry for people that don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. Things that have not been backed up, things that are rumors, and, profiteering on fantasies. So, that's an issue. Okay? Oh, it's tough. It's tough, okay? Because the movie is very well done, but by promoting her, not really honing in on the Pedogate stuff. Now, Ben Swan would have been great. I don't think Ben Swan can legally do it. They used clips of Ben Swan. The clips of Carlin are great. The other thing is the Fantasy Q people are now going to take this as their movie and be like, see, we told you. See, we told you. All this stuff has been around forever. You know, it would be nice if, other than Marina Abramovic, and again, the Abramovic stuff is also important. When I used to work for We Are Change, even before that, Cassandra Fairbanks shows you can watch what a spirit cooking type dinner is. One of Marina Abramovic, who's this, she's just a performance artist, folks, and she just hangs out with celebrities, and they have these weird parties in public where they eat cake that's like humans. But there's going to be a private one. And again, this woman is openly an AMA, says she does do actual rituals. All right. And Podesta, Tony Podesta, here's the email here. I'm looking forward to the spirit cooking at your house, Tony. Do you think you will know if your brother's going to come? And then you see him ask his brother if he's going to come. So, I get it. The spirit cooking part is in there. It's edited very well. It gets the point across, pretty well. But, and don't get me wrong, Marina's a creep. But by propping somebody up who's not credible, you create a straw man argument out of nowhere. That's what I'll say to that. So, Out of Shadows, what do I give it overall? I'd say I give it a strong 7 out of 10. Now, it's going to go super viral. I would have given this thing probably a 9 out of 10. But I'm a sucker for narration with clips, like interviews with clips. And they did a great job at that. By the way, if you want to see, especially more of an occult breakdown, go to Invisible Empire. Towards the end, I want to show this to people. I still haven't done this video. But these are 4 of the Bohemian Grove Annals. Very rare books. Over the years, I've got them. And, this is another one of those, occultic things that's been around forever. Here's some color shots of these with the elite. And it's not only governments, but somebody like Reagan goes to these things. And, he goes from an actor to, a governor to a president. And, these are the elitists, folks. So this is something I've been studying for a very long time. Invisible Empire has a very good segment. That film, actually, wow, tomorrow it will be 10 years old. I didn't even realize that. The 10th anniversary of Invisible Empire is tomorrow. I released it on April 15th, 2010. Huh. What do you know? Well, maybe we'll do some kind of a watch along with that tomorrow. We'll break that down. Maybe the 10th anniversary of Invisible Empire, we'll do a full watch along, guys. So 7 out of 10. I think it's going to be a good tool. I think you got to separate the facts that are presented. And listen, if you want to go a lot deeper on that MK Ultra, please check it out. I mean, I go hard in this MK Ultra playlist. All this stuff is free. It doesn't have a ton of views, but none of this stuff does. Here, I'll put this over here for anybody. And I want to remind people once again, because I have to, fully demonetized. $5, $10, $15 means the world to me. Big donations, they mean the world to me. Guys, I'm trying to do videos outside of all the madness that are going on around us more and more. And I'm going to make more of an effort. Remember, Tuesdays at noon, you can join me. Let's see if we can go right here. Yeah, boom. You can go sign up right now. All the free ones are already free, but there's at least one exclusive a week. We're trying to do more. Premium, you get my content and everybody else on Rockfin. It's like a Netflix for creators. If you do endorse me, which is awesome, make sure you're subscribed. We're going to keep kicking out the jams. And then follow me on Twitter for all the latest news. And again, all my documentaries are free in the playlist section. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip.